I learned a lot fooling people and deceiving people, and it stood me in very good stead for the rest of my life.
They didn't look much different than thousands of other World War II GIs. But these guys were different. They went to war with battalions of phony tanks and a world-class collection of sound effects records.
It's amazing the fakery that we were able to perpetrate upon the enemy.
Many were artists who also carried along paintbrushes and sketchbooks, using them to document their extraordinary journey across the battlefields of Europe.
To be in the middle of this incredible adventure, the world at war in a foreign country, I just had to put it down.
These were the men of the Ghost Army. The job of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops was to create a traveling roadshow of deception.
Where else did you have a unit that had rubber tanks, rubber trucks, rubber aircraft, and false sound equipment? I think we were very unique.
I used to refer to us as the Cecil B. DeMille Warriors.
They learned the art of conjuring up decoy formations the enemy could not only see, but hear.
Back of my half-track, I tell my children, was the biggest boombox you ever saw, but it played sounds of tanks and activity.
Crank the speakers up out of the back of the half-track and play a program to the enemy all night of us bringing equipment into the scene. We could make them believe that we were coming in with an armored division.
In the summer of 1944, they crossed over to France and headed toward the front to see if they really could fool the Germans on the battlefield.
You couldn't really believe that what we were going to do would be effective. How could we come along with rubber dummies and blow it up and make it look real?
There were times the whole thing seemed like a lark.
I was on guard duty, and two Frenchmen on bicycles got through the perimeter. They weren't looking at me. They were looking at something over my shoulder. And what they thought they saw was 4 GIs picking up what was a 40-ton Sherman tank and turning it around. They looked at me, and then they looked at the situation. They were looking for answers. And I finally said, "The Americans are very strong."
All too soon, they would come face to face with the realities of war.
We were being shelled by the Germans, and I remember sitting in the truck with my truck driver and a bunch of guys in the back of the truck, and a shell landed in front of us, and then a shell flew over our heads and hit the truck behind us. And I was thinking, do I tell them to get the hell out of here now? And with that, the signal came and we moved. And it was just a case of luck. Luck is the paramount word. If you're in the wrong place, you can be dead. If you're in the right place, you can live to be as old as I am.
The Army recruited artists to create the visual deceptions needed to fool the enemy. One of them was John Jarvie.
90% of us were either working artists or were going to art school. You want to draw everything you see, you know, and if there's something interesting, you especially want to draw it. And any given opportunity, the guys would draw. Guys would draw with a fountain pen and spit. You make the drawing and then you wet it and it makes nice halftones in there. These were some of the first sketches I did. They were not too long after the invasion. In the remains of this church, it was in Trevier. We might have had 3 or 4 guys in there sketching We were sleeping in hedgerows and foxholes, but nothing kept us away from going someplace to do a watercolor. These are pictures of the local whorehouse. It was a busy place, I'll tell you. And we went down there to sketch. But we also had a combat engineer unit in our outfit, the 23rd. And they thought we were queer. They said, "What are you doing here sketching pictures?" And they were busy waiting their turn and fighting for turn. And here's one guy who was propositioning the madam who ran the place, but he couldn't afford her. But the girls were just making a living. When they left at night, their husbands would wait outside the door for them and take them home. The guys drew or painted all the time.
The artworks created by the men of the Ghost Army offer a unique perspective on their trek across war-torn Europe. The 1,000 men of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops carried out 21 battlefield deceptions from Normandy to the Rhine. Their war was not about heroics, but about using showmanship and creativity to save lives.
They estimated that we saved between 15 and 30,000 lives. But you know, even if we only saved 15 or 30, it was worth it.
One mother or one new bride was spared the agony of putting a gold star in their front window. That's what the 23rd Headquarters was all about.